This is where we left in the previous video where we got this error. So let's go ahead and create a function to connect to MongoDB. So let me close this and let's get back to the utils. And I'm going to create one file called connectdb. And the function goes like this: const mongoose is equal to require the mongoose package. And then the function as connect db is equal to async, and then try and catch. And inside the try, we are going to create a variable called con, or connected, or connection is equal to await mongoose.connect. And then here we are going to provide what is called MongoDB connection string. As it stands right now, we don't have it, so I will say some URL. And in case everything goes on well, we will say that db connected, and then I want to inject the host, or let me say db connected successfully. And let me remove this. And in case something goes wrong, let me copy that and I will say error connecting to MongoDB. And let's exit by using process.exit, and then pass in argument of 1, meaning that we want to exit the process in case MongoDB couldn't connect. So here I will say module.export and then connectdb. So let's go ahead and require it inside the main file. So as connectdb, and then the auto import is fine, which is this. Remember, it's a function, therefore we need to call it. So I will say call the db as that, as a function call. And let's check the terminal. And we got error connecting to MongoDB. And let's pass in the actual error and let's see. So I'm gonna add the error dot message. And let's see. As you can see, error connecting to MongoDB, invalid scheme, expected connection string to start with Mongo or MongoDB plus SRV, but it got some different argument. So how are we going to get the MongoDB connection string? And it is pretty easy. So let's get back to mongodb.com. So here, if you don't have an account, try for free. Otherwise, log in. It is free of charge. For me, I have an account already, so I have logged in as that. By the time of watching this video, your interface might change, and for me, I have a couple of projects. So here, I'm going to create one project by clicking on New Project. And then let me name this one as MERN-blog-version 2. You can name it whatever you want and click next and click on create project. And next is click on create project. Over here, select the free plan as that, and let's name our cluster, and I will say MERN-blog-cluster. You can name it whatever you want and select your provider. I'm going to use AWS, and make sure to select a region that is close to you. And then click on create deployment. Let's accept this captcha. And next step is that make sure to copy your username and then the password. So here I'm going to copy the password and back to my project. I'm going to place it here as password and paste it. Likewise, the username, and I will say username and paste it, and click on create database user and click on choose connection method. We are going to use MongoDB drivers, so click on that. And then what we want is this. So copy that and then review setup settings or setup step and then click on done. So let me paste the connection string here. I will say URL and paste that. And let's finish up with our configuration. Let me close these notifications as that. So while our cluster is loading, let's go ahead and click on this configuration, which is really important, and that is the network access. So click on that. Over here, it has chosen my IP address. This means that I can only be connected to my cluster from this IP address. But I want this application to be accessible to anyone on the internet. So I'm gonna click on add IP address. And then here, click on allow access from anywhere and confirm. All right, it has finished, and let's click on the overview. Okay, good. So we have some sample data sets being loaded, but I don't want that. So I'm gonna click on browse collections and I'm going to trash those collections. So I'll click on this icon and then type the name and drop. Okay, so it's time for us to create the post from our application. So let's go ahead and connect. All right, so here, since this one is sensitive, I'm going to place it inside an environment variable. So I'm going to cut it from here and back to my main project folder structure. I'm going to create one file called .env. And here I'm going to have mongo-url. And before that, let me paste this. Let's see what is going on over here. This is the base URL, and then this is my username, and this is the password. And then it ends with my cluster over here that ends at this place. And then we have question mark rewrite set to true, which is equal to majority. So now I want to provide custom database name. So after the / I'm going to add the name of my database, and I will say MERN blog. And that is it. So I'm going to assign this to Mongo URL equal to that and remove this. And to be able to access the variables here inside our file, we are going to install a package called .env. npmi.env. And let me clear it and rerun the server. And back to the server file, you need to require the .env at the beginning of your file as .env. And on that, we have a method called config as that. So this syntax is same as this. Let me show you. Let me comment out this, and then supposed to be this one instead. Const .env, or let me say config is equal to that, and then remove this, and then on the config let me use .env or any variable env, and then here on the .env we have a method called config. So this one is the same as this. Remember, required is a function. So I'm going to remove this and then as that. So now how are we going to access this Mongo URL? For the meantime, let's use it directly inside the connection string to make sure that everything is working. So I'm going to paste it here, and then let's see. As you can see, MongoDB connected. So let's use the environment variable, and if you console log process.env, this is where we are going to access all the properties that we have set on our environment. As you can see, we have the Mongo URL. We're able to access this because of this package that we installed. Take note about that. So here we can use process.env.mongoURL. So I'm going to remove this and make use of process.env.mongoURL. And let's see, let me remove this. And take note about this. Anytime you make changes to your environment variable, unless you restart your server. And since we are using the watch flag, it has restarted our server for us. As you can see, it has been connected. So now we can go ahead and create the post. So let me click on send. As you can see, the post has been created with a title and then the description. So let's check inside our MongoDB dashboard. Let me refresh it. And now we have our database name and then the collection. Remember, we got this one from our model. Let's get back to the models post over here. And as I told you, when you create a post, it is going to use this one as our collection name and try to lowercase the first letter and add s to it. That is why you see it as post. If I click on that, this is the document. Awesome. For me, I don't want to come into my account to see the data. This is where the compass comes in. So let me copy my MongoDB connection string and back to compass and then paste it and connect. As you can see, we have the database name, and then inside we have one collection and we have one document. And we can see the same document right inside Visual Studio Code. So let me collapse this and then over here search for MongoDB. MongoDB has an extension for that, and MongoDB for VS Code. For me, I have installed it. That is why you see this icon. So after installation, click on this icon. For me, I have some connections. So let me add new connection and here connect. And let me paste my connection string and hit enter. As you can see, connecting. And it has been connected. And let's see which is this one, main block. And we have one database, and that is the main block. And inside we have one post and one document. If I click on that, this is the document, as you can see here.